are the steps? Just a simple answer.
Yeah, the first thing they do, and Don could probably answer this better than I can, as I understand it, they grind out the bad concrete, the concrete that needs to be fixed where the poles are. Then they derust the steel that's there. Then they put on a new layer of material that does not react with aluminum. And so that's what happened is the concrete they used 50 years ago reacted with the aluminum. So after 50 years, it created some decay. So the new material they're using is supposed to last another 200 years. So we're going to hold them to that. We're getting a warranty for that. So anyway, then they'll paint and they'll move on. As Don mentioned, I think on responding to somebody in an email, after we're all done with the balcony fix and all done with the painting, then they can remove the what are those called again, Don? The swing stages or something like that?
You muted yourself, Kevin.
Sorry, that was me. Please unmute Kevin.
Unmute, Kevin.
Okay, got it. How long was I muted for? Anyway, we can't fix the roof. They can't fix the roof until we finish the painting. And so that's at the back end of everything.
And,
Did I?
and the projection is for October, you say, the completion?
What do you think, Don? What are they saying?
They're hoping by October they could start the painting, pending the weather. So if they're able to use, the painters are able to use the same swing stages, then they can follow along. But it's a different contract. So one company is not going to carry the liability for the next company. So they may have to develop a new contract so that they can follow the balcony repair. So anyway, the projected date to do the painting is to start in October.
But so far they've been, if the weather and the smoke don't get in the way, so far they've been maintaining a good schedule. So the problem is there are apparently around 350 fires happening right now in California. Fortunately, most of them are very small, but still that they have such potential to get bigger pretty quick, especially when it gets windy out. So anyway, we'll keep everybody posted on that as best we can. Jerry?
Yes. If we were to have something like the Oakland Hills fire around us, do we have an evacuation plan for our residents?
Yes, we do. We have evacuation agreements with other communities, with several human good communities as well. We have more transportation available to us than the vast majority of communities, with 2 buses, 2 vans, and of course a lot of people have cars. But yes, we would go in order in terms of seeing what communities were the safest to get to, and we keep in touch with what's available. So last weekend I had one community call me because they had a power outage. So we put together a list of what apartments we had available or beds in skilled nursing, and just in case they had to evacuate. So we can't just leave and get out of Dodge. We have to know where we're going to be going ahead of time. So that's where we're at.
So we should all have those little go bags packed with
my wife and I packed our go bags, and you know where we were going to go? We were going to go right here.
Oh, well, welcome.
Okay. I've got some information to show that the state requires life plan communities to have resident satisfaction surveys every 2 years. But as you know, ABHOW and now Human Good like to have them a little more often than that, so we really can see how we're doing. We got a new surveying company that is, I'm really happy that we did this. The last company we had doing the surveys wasn't really a survey company. So they're more of a PR company. So really happy they decided to get away from that and use a professional company. So I'm going to share my screen here. Can everybody see the Human Good Resident Survey screen?
Yes.
Yeah, good, thank you. They are changing what they're doing. And I'm 95% really happy with what they're going to do. The point of it is to tell us about your experience, because if we don't get feedback from you, then we're not really sure what's working, what's not working. Of course, our residents aren't shy for the most part, and you don't wait for a survey to tell me what you're thinking. And I'm very grateful for that. It is really important for us to be able to do this and really.
Well, now I got the idea of what the program is, and
So we really want to be able to allow people the opportunity to give their feedback. So what's changing? How we used to do it, we had all the residents complete a survey at the same time. It was a big crunch where we had to get them all distributed and get them all back. And we had a resident satisfaction committee who would also help to nag people to get their surveys done. And the surveys were pretty long and pretty convoluted. So they were comprehensive surveys with all kinds of questions about all the different departments we've got. Your responses were completely anonymous, and they were primarily completed with pen and paper. Even though they tried to go to online, the majority of people still wound up doing them by pen and paper. So what they're going to do now, we're going to have, we'll survey somebody after they have moved in, just asking how their move-in go, and if they move out, not including deceased. I'm sorry, that seems really self-evident, but what it means is if you go from independent living to assisted living, we want to know how did we handle your transfer? Along those lines is better. So you complete your move-in you complete an annual survey on the anniversary of your move-in date, within the month of your move-in date. Be a lot fewer questions. I think they're thinking of 10 questions on this. And here's the biggest change. You will identify yourself, especially the way that they're going to be completing the surveys. They'll be done by email or phone. So they will know who you are. We won't know who you are unless you really want us to contact you. But when they say, hey, so-and-so has a problem every day with dining. So we want to know what that is. Now, some residents are nervous about identifying themselves because they think there will be some kind of retribution if they complain. Well, you know me, there is no retribution ever happening that I'm aware of, either here or any other of our communities. So the way that it is really conveyed to the executive directors and all of our team members is that complaints are gifts. Those are things you allow us the opportunity to fix something, and that's the best. So even if you're upset about something, if you don't say anything about it, number one, we'll never know. Number two, you'll just keep on going being upset about it. If you let us know about it, we will fix it. And then two things happen. It's fixed. And what I've experienced here that I never experienced in a hotel was how grateful people are, even for minor things getting fixed. We're happy to fix things. One thing we're not doing is this pulse survey, at least they wanted to do a pulse survey right away in September. And we just have too many things going on. So I didn't really want to do this. So we're not doing that, but we will be doing the regular surveys. We'll be getting going in September. I've got a handout coming out to everybody today or tomorrow with the memos and explaining in depth about the surveys and what's happening. Because one thing that has to happen is if we want you to do a survey by phone, you have to give us permission. And if you don't want to, then you don't. It's okay. We could do it by email. So this way, because we'll be doing an individual survey every month, we'll see if something is starting to head south. And so that we can hopefully jump on it and get on top of it. And because they won't be anonymous, we'll be able to follow up with individual residents. Email and phone offer greater flexibility and for tracking results. The move-in surveys, we really want to make sure we're hitting it right from the very beginning and making sure people, one thing that I have found is that if we give people an orientation too soon after they've moved in, like a month later, they don't remember half of it because there's too much stuff. So we do like to circle back like a month or so later to make sure that now that you've had a chance to acclimate, that you can ask more intelligent questions based on a month's experience. The move-out surveys provide us with insight into the complete experience of our residents and our family members. And what they're thinking for the future pulse surveys are just like literally 1 or 2 questions. That would be it. Like, for the pulse survey for next month, they might ask, have we kept you alive during the pandemic? And how happy are you? So things like that. Literally just be 1 or 2 questions. When this is going to start in September. So here's an example of a full survey. So rather than being several pages, are your concerns addressed in a timely manner? Are you treated with courtesy and respect? Do you trust the team members at your community? Are you kept informed about your services and care? Are you getting clear and prompt communication from us as policies change? Do activities, services, and programs support your health and well-being? Is the overall dining experience enjoyable? Does living in your human good community help you enjoy life in your own way? How likely would you be to recommend this community to your family and friends? And what else would you like to say about your experience? Pretty short survey. And I'm sure they'll have a scale on here because I certainly wouldn't want the answers to just be yes or no. But I don't know if they'll have, if it'll be 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. I don't know that part yet. And then the process, annual surveys, you'll only get it on in the month of your move-in anniversary. You'll be contacted by email first, followed by 2 phone call attempts. And once your name has come up for being surveyed, there's 14 days to get it completed. And then they're just going to move on. So there may be a reminder, hey, Flossie, you didn't finish that survey yet. And Flossie tells me where to go. She's not finishing the Blinken survey. It's okay. We're just going to move on. And to receive the survey over the phone, there is a consent form that we're going to hand out as well, so that before anybody is allowed to call you, you have to actually opt in. And so if you get a consent form and you don't fill it out, well, that's still opting out. So you still won't get a phone call. The phone calls literally would last probably 3 to 5 minutes, and that would be it. Well, I got more on here. Look at that. Right here. So this phone number, and you'll get this in a written form as well in your mailbox. You should save this number because this is like a toll-free number. And I know whenever I get a toll-free number showing up on my phone, I do not answer it. So you should take note of this. And like I say, you'll have it on paper. And please take note of what that is. Also, the Connect survey at surveynrc.com, it's quite possible if you don't enter that email address in as a friendly email address, it might go straight to junk. So this will be on the paper we hand out as well. Yeah, you can always ask us for assistance. We're always going to be there for you. And that's it. Any questions or thoughts about the survey?
Yeah, can you give us a phone number again? It disappeared too quickly.
Okay, there it is. And you'll get it delivered to you as well.
Oh.
So don't worry, but I'll leave that up.
So Kevin, if you consider, complaints to be gifts, it must feel to you sometimes like every day is Christmas.
Big time, absolutely. But it's also why I enjoy being here, because I'd say the vast majority of what all of the team members feel is gratitude. And it's such an amazing piece of compensation that is not monetary. I don't think there are that many types of jobs, maybe hospitals, doctors and nurses, receive a lot of love for all of the care and services they provide. I'm not going to say anything though about lawyers. So don't worry, Maddie, I'm not talking about lawyers. Oh,
Well, I can only speak for myself and say I appreciate the way that you respond to complaints.
thank you, Maddie. Any other questions about the survey? I'm not seeing any hands raised. So I'm going to move on because I've got a number of things to cover. I contacted the Secretary of State. Let's see, I'm going to stop sharing this screen. And I need to go, where do I need to go? I need to go get that out of my way. Go here. And put this over here. So I'm going to share my screen again. And let's see, I think this is it here. And we'll make it big. So I went to the Secretary of State because they're in charge of elections. And it's really got it's a very comprehensive site. Now, it's good and bad. One is you can enter your name here and your California driver's license or ID card, the last 4 digits of your social, your birth date. And once you do that, they'll call you, they'll let you know if you're registered to vote. And then if you want to do mail-in, and then if you want to track your vote, is they will notify you when they've received, first they notify you when they've mailed your ballot out, then they notify you when they receive your ballot, then they notify you when they've counted your ballot. This is the most comprehensive of mail-in, I think, of any state. So, and it assures you that your vote got counted. So I really recommend doing this. Now, I got a call today from Joanne asking, so are we going to have the polling place here? So I couldn't find that online. They don't announce the polling places until 60 days before the election. So I kept looking for it, and then I finally found where the last election it was announcing polling places for was March. And it was for the nominating votes, not for the general election. So I called, and if they got paid for how quickly they'd answer the phone, even $1 extra, I think it would make a big difference in their compensation. But they don't get paid that extra $1. So it probably took a total of about 45 minutes of waiting and then talking to one person here and then talking to another person over there, and then one more person. Very friendly. They're very nice people to talk to, but none of them could tell me, are we going to be a polling place? What they could tell me is they're reducing the number of polling places that are accessible in California from 700 to 100. So they're dramatically reducing the number of polling places that are accessible. And I assume that they're decreasing the number of non-accessible polling places as well. But what they were able to tell me is that there are 4 criteria that they're using to determine whether or not to have a polling place where they've done. One is the room has to be 2,500 square feet. I'm pretty confident that the Friendship Room is bigger than 2,500 square feet. We may have to actually measure it, but I'm pretty confident. It has to be accessible, and that it is. They're going to be open 4 days. So they need to make sure whatever location the polling place is can be open for 4 days. So they're going to open on Saturday, October 31st and run through Tuesday, November 3rd. So usually voting is just the 1 day on the 3rd. So this is really good because a lot of times people who are hourly workers and they work Monday to Friday cannot afford to take a day off to go vote. And some places don't let people have that day off. They're going to be open Saturday and Sunday. So that should expand the accessibility for people, even if they're hourly wage earners. So far, so good, because we're here 24/7. So that's great. The one condition, though, that might be a challenge is we're supposed to have parking for 40. And we don't quite make it to 40. I bet you we could squeak out 10, but I don't think we'd get to 40. Now, maybe on Saturday and Sunday we'd have more, but at any rate, the person I spoke to said they knew Piedmont Gardens, and they actually were hoping we could still be a polling place. But the person that said that is not the person with the authority to make the decision. So they said likely what they would do is send someone here to survey the property and to see how it might operate. Now, we could do it. We could certainly enforce all of the safety protocols. We could have plenty of hand sanitizer. We could have masks ready for anybody that didn't wear one on the way here. We can keep anybody out that doesn't have a mask. Now, we might have a little more security than normal, but we're going to make sure people come in, they vote, and it goes right straight back out. Hand sanitizing all the way. Maybe we'll put sprays in the room. Jake, do you have a question?
Were there not to be a polling place here, could we request an official election board collection box?
I was also asking about that, and I was looking because on this site you can see where they are right now, and they're nowhere near here.
I understand.
There's one up in Piedmont, and there's one about a mile on the other side of 580. And I was also going to ask, is there some way I can be authorized to take votes to a drop box?
Right.
That's a little tougher to do because that's, of course, what people who don't want mail-in voting are saying, that harvesting is a dangerous and illegal practice. So
Doing it for
Drop-
years.
2
Drop
questions.
boxes are routine in California.
I have
yeah. Yes, Doris.
couple of things. Number one, could we apply for a drop box? Number two, what are the hours going to be for the polling station if we have it? And my third question is, could we apply to the city to get the street parking, the parking by our building as additional parking for the voters? So I've got 3 questions.
Yeah, the first one Jake had answered or had asked, and I will find out when I call or when they call me back. They're supposed to call me back this morning. They're running a little late. But that was included in my question that if we're not a polling place, can we get a drop box? If we can't get a drop box, can I be authorized to be a gatherer and deliverer? So those were those plans. We can ask about the parking. We could try to make it, 10-minute parking only, something like that. I can certainly ask about that. And the hours, I think they run from something like 7 a.m. To 8 p.m. It's something along those lines. It's like full day. And I saw it somewhere and I didn't write it down. But anyway, if you go to voters, well, sos.ca.gov, that'll give you the Secretary of State place, and then you go in there and you can click on elections, and it'll take you all through this stuff.
And Kevin, can you include that information and give it to us maybe in print?
I can put that in Wednesday's memo. I've already finished today's memo, but yeah, I can put that in on Wednesday.
Great, thank you.
Okay. I better write that down. I think I included in one of the memos one time, the biggest lie we tell ourselves is, I don't need to write that down, I'll remember it. Okay.
I'd like to say that in light, a number of us were at Jane Klein's memorial, and her devotion to voting, to registration, to making it possible for people to vote was so keen. Everything we do to promote this is in her memory, as far as I'm concerned.
Great. Excellent. Okay.
Kevin,
Yes.
this is Birgit.
Birgit, yes.
I wonder if it's possible, given our proximity to Piedmont, that we may be able to in Piedmont, just up the street at Linda Beach School.
Well, there is one I saw that this website showed for Piedmont, but it's pretty far up there. It's pretty far up the hill and over.
Oh, it didn't show up the street?
No,
Yeah, on Linda Avenue?
no.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. They've really cut down on the number of polling places. So I hope we can really have this one here, and then we really watch it like a hawk.
They
So there
want
was-
everyone to vote by mail, and we all should be looking to get our ballots in the mail.
That's my plan. I vote by mail every year.
So,
Kevin,
Yes.
which one Birgit or I?
Go ahead, Vanjie.
Yes. If we are already registered to get mailed ballots, do we have to fill this one out?
No.
No.
Okay, thank
But
you.
if you want to make sure that they received your ballot and that they counted your ballot, then you can fill this out.
I see.
so I have a related question. I've voted by mail for years, and I've never noticed exactly when it arrives. It seems to arrive pretty early, but I'd like it to arrive even earlier. If I go on this website, will I be able to say to them, I want it as soon as possible so I can put it back in the mail?
They're not going to pay
attention. I haven't checked that part yet, though it's interesting. Going back to 2016, you can see where you voted. It lists where and how you voted. So they are tracking this data now better than ever. But I don't know yet, Maddie. For the Wednesday memo, I'll include a bunch of stuff about all the voting.
Kevin, I have a question or a thought about the parking on the street. It's Joyce here.
Yes, hi, Joyce.
About the street parking. If they are not okay with the idea of providing some street parking, what about that parking lot behind CVS? That's a big parking lot. I was there today. It was about 1/4 full. There was, because, people are not out shopping. And so that space is city land. And on the weekend, well, Sunday, you wouldn't have to pay anyway, but maybe they could just make it free during those voting days. It's, it's like very quick, a very short distance from Piedmont Gardens.
Sure. I have a whole bunch of questions for them when I call. talk to
that's an
somebody who
alternative.
actually is a decision maker.
Alternative idea. Mhm.
Yeah.
Maddie? Maddie,
Yeah?
Alameda County will not mail out our ballots until October 1.
Well, thanks. Darn.
Kevin? It's
Yes.
Doris.
Yes,
Um,
Doris.
As far as parking goes, you might also inquire whether the church across the street will allow us their parking area, which is, just closer.
Yeah.
Share.
Okay.
Kevin, this is Helen Rubart.
Hi, Helen.
If people are coming to vote here, will they come in through the 41st Street entrance and do the
No.
screening thing? No.
No, we'll have that door that's farther down the hall toward the Crestmont lobby, that little side door. And we'll have a guard stationed there, and we'll have 6 dividers on the floor. I mean, we'll take it nice and slow, but hopefully with a 4-day voting period, it won't be such a crunch as it normally is. So I think that will help tremendously.
Yeah.
Are you going to take temperatures or no?
I'll ask Daniel that. I think we might. I think that's probably still going to be the protocol. If somebody's got a high temperature, we're not going to let them in.
Right.
I would imagine yes.
And we'll have Don there at the door to look mean at them if they give us any.
Where the bathroom is?
Wait,
I don't think much is gonna.
Oh, wait a minute. Too many people. Hang on.
I don't think much is gonna change as far as the voting and how they do it. They've done it here a number of years, and we've always used that side door. I think what will change is the temperatures and the hand sanitizers. But usually, when they call me, I receive the equipment downstairs, then our guys bring it up to the friendship room the morning of, and then it's hands off after that. They don't let us touch anything. They have their own staff to set up the tables, set up the booths, and things like that. So I don't think any of that will change, other than maybe checking in folks at that entrance that we always use. But Kevin, I haven't received any emails or calls yet. It's usually around now is when I do get them. And they call myself and they call and email Liz Chambers.
Uh-huh.
So I have to sign the contract that says we're responsible for storing the equipment. And then they bring it, we receive it. And like I said, we take it up to the friendship room and then they set it up after that.
Great.
If I hear anything, I'll let you know right away.
Please.
Kevin?
Joyce or Joy?
No, Doris.
No, but Joy, my turn, Doris.
Okay.
My question is, if this does fall through, did you confirm we won't actually have to pay postage? It's postage paid for returns if we have to use the post office. If they don't give us a drop box or a polling place, and they don't let Kevin take the returns to a drop box, can you confirm that we will not actually have to pay any postage?
I will ask.
Thank
I
you.
will ask. Yep.
I heard that if you don't put a stamp on your ballot, it's treated as bulk mail. If you put a stamp, then it forces the post office to treat it as first-class mail.
But it would be, you need more than one stamp, would be insufficient postage, and then they might not even accept it.
Well, of course, you'd have to put the amount that is proper, but that's what I heard.
Kevin?
Yeah, Doris.
Is there a need or an opportunity for volunteers to help at the polls, at our poll?
Sure. That's what it's always been. And we'll see if we get enough people volunteering to do it or not. That would be a question. But I'm sure that their experience with us is that we have always had folks there to man the tables. So I expect with this group we'd get
man the tables. I thought they were the pollsters. They were volunteers? I think they're paid pollsters, aren't they?
Yeah.
to work
Don?
at
Oh,
polls.
they're paid $10 a day or something.
Yeah, because I've done it. Well, I've done it back in New York. I haven't done it in California. Yeah, I think we got paid like $10.
You're hired.
Thank you for a promotion. Okay.
I'm just saying, if you need volunteers, is that a possibility? I wouldn't mind volunteering some hours.
Yeah.
I've heard that they're looking for younger people who are in lower risk groups to be poll workers.
That makes sense. But anyway, the first thing is if we can get our location as a polling place and then go from there.
Volunteering isn't done through, it isn't volunteering, it's signing up to be a poll watcher, but that's done through the Board of Elections. It has nothing to do with Piedmont Gardens. You can, I think there's a website or a telephone number that you can call. They are actively recruiting people, and as Maddie said, they're hopeful of getting younger people since they're not as susceptible, but it's worth a try.
Awful lot of people out of work. I would hope they could find people. Does anybody have any other question?
I have a question. Is this an open question time?
Yeah, I think I'm going to run out of time pretty soon, but yeah.
Okay, I think this is going to be for Dawn to help. In our social work committee meeting, we talked about the area where there are chairs still out on the lawn, which is on the side of the building next to the parking lot. There are chairs there. Are people still able to congregate in the chairs in that area? Or if not, the chairs should be removed?
So people are still able to use that area. We're trying to be flexible and not shut everything down completely. So as long as the construction is on the other side of the caution tape, away from that seating place, people can still use it and practice social distancing.
Right. Well, that's great. I wasn't sure whether there was any area or not, and whether those chairs needed to be removed.
Now it's a group decision. I don't have the final say. Consult with Daniel and Kevin if things change, but and for now it's open still.
You want to breathe the air.
Just a couple other little last things. Our CNA school is wrapping up early September. We have 3 team members who are hopefully going to pass their CNA exam and get their CNA certification. So CNA is one of the toughest positions to keep filled. And so I'm really, really grateful that Daniel got this happening. And so looks like it really worked well. And we can start another one, I think Daniel said in January, something like that. And maybe we'll get a bigger group now that we've got one under our belt and we kind of know the process and what to expect, that maybe we can expand that and maybe include team members from other locations as well.
One quick question.
Jake?
What kinds of staff people are listed on the Cubico staff directory and what kind of staff are not?
That's a good question.
Dining workers, I don't see there. I don't see CNAs.
There may only be supervisors, managers, and directors on there.
Okay.
But I just today, I began looking more at the Cubico site because there's activity happening on it. And apparently our residents have gotten onto this a little more quickly than most of the communities. And I think the ambassadors, the group of residents who have been assisting and getting this thing going, I think that the interest level grew faster, and I think it's going to take hold faster. And I think in October, it might be in October, that we'll be switching off the Touchtown and migrating over to Cubigo. And that will, our in-house channel will go through Cubigo. I think that they set that for, I heard it and course, I didn't write it down because I knew I'd remember it. So
That's correct, Kevin. Right now, we're able to post on Touchtown and Cubicle. We shared the weather report today, so we'll be able to do both. And then come October, we'll be changing the monitors and Touchtown computers to the new Cubicle Apple computers.
excellent.
Kevin?
John? Yeah.
I think two things. One is, I think the Cubico ambassadors, we actually have helped a fair number of people, and we're continuing to do so, although with the air quality problem, it's a little tricky. But there'll be more news about how we're doing it. It certainly is available. People can send in an email, and we can arrange, to me, for example, and we can arrange somebody to help them. But that has worked out pretty well. On another matter with Cubico, the staff directory is someplace in between that. It's not just managers and whatever. It goes down some depth, but not all that far, as Jake was suggesting. And I think for the people that are in charge of programming it, which is mainly Rena, I guess, to get staff pictures on and get a greater number of staff on there would be very extremely helpful to people. I think it's always been a mystery to me what staff does what.
And their
It's hard to
positions.
find out.
And their positions listed as well.
And their position, yes, absolutely. Their positions are even, there's a profile thing where you could put their functions in, you know, I mean, it would really be a help to people, I think.
Yeah, I think it's all a process. I think that's the plan, to just get it expanded. We got it launched. Now, matter of just helping it grow. Suzanne?
Yes, I was can you hear me?
Yes.
I was wondering if I see that this session is being recorded.
Yes.
Could you ask Rena to put it up, please?
Yeah, I'll ask Elizabeth is the one who's recording.
Oh, okay.
For team members who can't be here so they can see it. So I don't see why not. That sounds like a great idea.
Okay, well, if you could, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maddie?
With respect to Cubico, because of the air, we're moving into the friendship room, and we can see people one at a time in the friendship room. And Zinni has reserved it. Let's see, Tuesday and Wednesday between 10 and 11, and 1 to 2, and then Thursday and Friday in the afternoons between 1 and 3. So you can there'll be one of us there at least. You can show up, or you can even better email one of us directly, or email John and he'll get in touch with us. It's a little bit of the blind leading the visually impaired, but what the hell, we're managing to hack our way through it, and every day there's more and more people on Cubico.
Which is great. Yeah, I put a bit of that information in the memo today because I saw the email exchange with Maddie and Zinnia. So the only thing is we have to have a half an hour gap between sessions so that we can go in and disinfect things.
Well, if one person each of those hours.
Yes, just one person for the hour.
Wow.
You could also call us on the phone. There's a lot we can accomplish over the phone, possibly.
Yeah, I saw an email. Mark Rifle talked somebody through on the phone and got it done. Just on the phone. Now that was impressive.
That is impressive.
Okay, folks. I hope everybody, one last little bit and I'll go. I need to get together with the executive committee of resident council. I'd like to invite John Cochran to join in one of our community forums and to give us enough time going out and what might be the best date and to get as many folks on as we can. So John Cochran is the president of Human Good.
When are you looking to get together with the executive committee? Because we actually canceled our meeting for this afternoon.
I'll talk to Dave and you and maybe we can have our own little Zoom and
Okay.
we could discuss it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Everybody, please stay well. Have a good day. And we'll see you around.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.